Welcome back to Low Stress Math with Mrs. Bono. Today, we're going to review the homework, the independent practice on page 5. And yeah, I labeled it lesson 3. It's not lesson 3. It's really the homework. Sorry about that, guys, but sometimes even the amazing Mrs. Bono makes mistakes. All right, as you know, there are 4 ways to represent a relation. There's ordered pairs, mapping diagrams, tables, and graphs. And here is a list of ordered pairs, and I am going to use those to make a table, make a graph, do the mapping diagram, and get my list of ordered pairs. Okay, so let's start with the ordered pairs. So I need one of those squiggly things. It's called a curly bracket, and that denotes a set of numbers. And here is a set of ordered pairs. So the curly brackets tell you it's a set, and the parentheses are around the individual ordered pairs. So for my set, I have a curly bracket, and for my ordered pairs, I use parentheses, 1, 3, another parenthesis, 4, 6, and 2, -5. Oh dear, I've run out of space. It's okay. I'm going to continue it on the next line, parenthesis, -1, 6, close the parenthesis, but I also need to close the curly bracket. Now, I have a little trouble with curly brackets, drawing them. Sometimes you can see it gets really sloppy looking. So if you just draw a squiggle, I'm okay with it. But to draw a curly bracket, it's a C, an arrow, and a C. And to close it, it's a reverse C, an arrow, and a reverse C. That's a nice looking curly bracket. That's what they're supposed to be. All right. The X value is also called the domain. And the domain is all of the X values. The 1, the 4, the 2, and the -1. All of those are the domain. 1, 4, 2, and -1. And the corresponding Y values, corresponding means the one that matches up with it. So corresponding range values. So if I have a 1, the corresponding Y is 3. If I have this 4, the corresponding Y is 6. I have a 2, the corresponding Y is -5. If I have a -1, my corresponding Y is 6. So my domain is 1, 4, 2, -1, and my range is 3, 6, -5, and 6. Well, I would only say the 6 ones. All right, mapping diagram. Mapping diagram has the domain, which is all the X values listed here. But they do it in order from basically highest to lowest. And why is that? Well, let's look over here at this little grid for a second, the coordinate plane. Here is 0. If I go up, my numbers get bigger. But if I go down, the numbers get smaller. So with the domain, I'm at the highest numbers, and I'm going down to the lowest numbers, just like you would on a graph. So my highest number is 4, 2, 1, and -1. That's my domain. And I'm going to put a little oval around it. I like to put the X in the oval, but some people don't. It's okay. Now the range, that's all my Y values. And I'm going to do the same thing with the range. I am going to put the highest one on top, which is 6, and then 3, and then -5. And I hear it already. Oh, you're supposed to put the 6. No. When you are listing the domain and the range, you really should only put it one time for a mapping notation. All right, and now, if I have a 4, what does it map to? Well, I come here, 4 goes to 6. So my 4 maps to 6. You would say it that way too. It sounds a little strange, but you would. And my next number is 2. 2 corresponds to -5, so 2 would map to -5. And these are rays. They start at a point and they're going to the other point. And what do I have here? I have 1. 1 corresponds to 3, so 1 maps to 3. And -1 corresponds to 6, so -1 maps to 6. Not too bad. And now the hard part. This is a horrible graph. I'm sorry. It's little and it's dark and it's blurry and I don't like it. But I'm going to make it a little bigger because that helps. The 0 is the origin. 0, 0 is the origin. Y is the vertical axis. And X is the horizontal axis. I wrote it out there for a reason, you'll see. So starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to put a 6 up there to show that each one of these boxes is worth 1. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. -6 going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going to the right. And 1, 2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -6 going to the left. That way, I've labeled my axes. That's what that means, to put the X and the Y and the 0 in the middle and tell what each one of those boxes is worth. You don't have to label each and every box. I mean, each and every line. But you do have to put something there so people have an idea what because sometimes one box can be worth 3 or 5, or you can count by other numbers. So I'm just telling people who are looking at it what each box is worth. Now I have to put my points on here. So let's start with 1, 3. Start at 0, 0, 1 to the right, up 1, 2, 3, and here's a point. And I have to label that point. And it's going to be hard to see the label here, so I'm going to kind of cheat because I know where all the points go, but I'm actually going to put just a little bit of white out there so that when I label it, you can see it. Here's my label. That is at 1, 3. Ooh, oh no. Look at that, what I did. My next one is going to be at 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have a point up here, 4, 6. Now my next point is at 2, -5. 1, 2, and then 5 down. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. 2, -5. And I'm going to put that down here because, yeah, you can see it a little better outside of the box. And -1, 6. Start back at 0, 0 again. -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have a point up there, and that point is at -1, 6. So I labeled all my points. And down here where it says domain and range, the domain is my X values. And I'm going to use a set of numbers again. And a set is written with a curly bracket. So a C, an arrow, and a C. There's my curly bracket. And my set of numbers is all of these numbers. And when I write my set of numbers, I like to start with the smallest number and get larger. Again, it's like here, the negative numbers, the 0, the larger numbers to the right. I like it to kind of look like a number line. It's sort of a habit I have. -1, 1, 2, 4, and then close it with a curly bracket. I know curly brackets are hard. You'll get used to them. And the range, that's the Y values. You curly bracket to open it. And my range is, again, I start with the smallest, go to the largest, -5, 3, and 6, and then close the curly bracket. Yeah, be careful. You want to kind of be consistent with what you're doing. So down here, use the points on the graph to complete the ordered pairs, and there were no points on the graph. So what I did was I put points on the graph, and here they are, all on here. And I'm going to take all of those points, and I'm going to list the ordered pairs. I'm going to do the domain and range. So let's take a look at the points first. Doesn't matter what order I write them in, not even a little bit. It doesn't matter at all. I don't care. So I need a curly bracket because it's a set of ordered pairs. And my ordered pairs, parentheses, and I'm going to start left and go right. I don't know, it's just a habit. -5, 3. And -3, -5. And 2, 3. Do I really have room for, yeah, I guess I do. 2, 3. And this one has to go on the other side. 4, -3. 4, -3. There should be a comma after that. Oh, and I have to close my curly bracket. I gotta be careful with that. All right. Now, the domain, that's all my x values, domain. And what's the domain? The x's. So I have that x and this x and this x. The first coordinate is the x value. So my domain is -5, -3, +2, and +4. And the range is the y values, and that's the corresponding y values. So -5 corresponds to 3. So the range there is 3. -3 corresponds to -5. -3, -5. 2 corresponds to 3, so 3. And 4 corresponds to -3. There we go. Wow, look at the way I wrote that. My domain is already in order, but it's upside down, isn't it? It's smallest to largest, and I really don't want it like that for my mapping diagram. So here we go, domain. And my largest domain number is 4, then 2, -3, -5, and I forgot to write the x. I'm gonna put that over here, x. So there's my whole domain. Those are my x values. And now the range is all of the y values. And that's my y's. And what do I have there? 3, -3, and -5. Remember, you only have to write it once. And now, corresponding. 4 corresponds to -3, so I have to draw a map. 4 maps to -3. 2 corresponds to +3, so 2 maps to 3. -3 corresponds to -5, so -3 maps to -5. And -5 maps to 3 corresponds to. All right. Little funny looking, but. So remember, the domain, that's the x values. And it's in a set. Curly brackets denote a set. -5, -3, 2, and 4. And curly bracket to close the set. The range is the y values. And it's a set of numbers also, so it gets a curly bracket. And that's -5, -3, +3, and curly bracket to close it. Okay, I hope you did a good job with your homework. Have a great day. Bye.